Welcome back for minute 41. I'm out of my mind, tired, only 3 hours of sleep, so I'm gonna flub this up. But my name is Brian.
I'm Wolf.
And this is X Minutes, the podcast that takes the longest running in continuity superhero franchise there is and breaks it down one extraordinary minute at a time. I still got the cheese. As tired as I am, that still comes through. And this is minute 41 of X-Men. And before you get into the recap, I just gotta say, maybe Xavier explaining her powers to Logan means that he already figured out what her powers were and explained them to her before he stabbed it. In the last minute, last week when we recorded, we were like, she might have just been like, fuck you, I'm gonna hurt you before I die. But right. Since he was so ready to explain it, maybe they figured it out in the day that she was there. But, jumping ahead, sorry. Wolf, what happened?
So this is the second half of the scene where Logan is having the night terror. Rogue walks in, tries to wake him up, and ends up getting stabbed directly through the right side of her torso. Or is that more shoulder?
I was going to say torso. It's close enough, but I think her rotator disc is just fine. Or whatever it's called. I'm not a shoulderologist.
Shoulderologist. So at about 11 seconds is where things start to get real. Scott and Storm, they run into the room, see what the commotion is. And at that moment, Logan falls to the ground because he's been drained of his powers by Rogue, who uses that healing ability to heal her own wounds. At around 24 seconds, she tells Storm that it was an accident. Around 25 seconds, Storm looks super concerned. She's like, whoa, I didn't realize this girl was that strong.
That's funny because at 25 seconds, I literally thought, wow. That is the most effortlessly stunning Halle Berry has ever looked.
Right, yeah.
And I'm glad that, it wasn't like the scene in Swordfish or, her Bond role that made me think that. I was just like, wow, she's standing there, everything's shoulder up, and she looks
she looks
stunning. Just like
I enjoyed
a queen. Anyway.
Yeah, she's
I completely missed her concern.
Glow.
Yeah. I missed her concern because I was like, hold up, did we just find another piece of Wakanda royalty?
I think so. Let's see. Oh, crap. At around 27 seconds, you see all the students gathered around the doorway. They're like looking in like, ooh, what's going on here? What the hell just happened? Okay,
wait. So, one, there is a very, 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 very thin boy all the way on the left at that moment.
Oh, wow.
We gotta just check in on him, make sure he's not being underfed. But right next to him, that girl has some fantastic eyeliner, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no. Yeah, is that what that's called?
I don't know. But she's got some silver right at the top, right by her top eyelashes.
And it matches her lipstick.
And maybe a little lipstick, or something on her lips. Dead of night, everyone's asleep.
I know, right? I was like, why is she all
She looks like fantastic. Oh, and look, we got a cameo from our channel sponsor. That's not really our channel sponsor.
Hum Kombucha, back again.
When you want to sleep in full makeup.
Yes, you reach for a Hum Kombucha.
I literally spotted that before we started recording.
2 billion probiotic cultures. And if you consider yourself multicultural, that's a lot.
Which is great, because I just saw an article headline that said, scientists show that probiotics don't help your gut health.
Really?
I don't know. You know me.
Hum has some splaining to do.
Most of us, we don't read past the headline, but that didn't seem like something that I really needed to check past the headline, because I don't care about probiotics.
Yeah, that is a fuck ton. But, not to get too off topic, but let's see here. You see Bobby, he's at the very back, he's like looking in, he's like super curious, because this is his unofficial girlfriend. I know they just met like that day, but she seemed to be like into him, so he's super concerned as to what's going on, making sure she's okay. You can notice at around 29 seconds, as she's walking out, everybody just like makes a hole, and she walks through them because they're really like scared of what she could do to them, you know?
And at 32 seconds near the end of that, before we cut to Bobby's close-up, wait a minute, I just found a continuity error. Anyway.
Oh boy.
My joke that I was going to say is that around 42 seconds, the woman that's looking right at Rogue as she leaves in the wide shot looks like Olivia Munn's little sister. And Olivia Munn goes on to be Psylocke, and she's just giving her a disgusted look. But then, because I noticed that, if you go to the next shot where it's Bobby's close-up, suddenly Olivia Munn's little sister is to his left. She was to his right in that wide.
Oh, crap.
And then, boom, on his left. So she's a teleporter. We can explain anything.
There's no way. There's no way there's a continuity error. She is a teleporter.
Yeah.
And that's...
Why, in some of the shots, does the actor have a big pimple on his nose, and in some of the shots, no pimple? It's superpowers. Mutants.
Yep, that's what it is.
It's just inconsistent pimple lighting. If you go from the right angle, it's an invisible pimple. It's a Drax the Destroyer pimple.
There is an invisible pimple in the second Fantastic Four film. It was right before the wedding. Sue Storm makes her pimple disappear. Because that's what her powers do.
Not gonna lie.
That's what the fans want.
I was super happy to find out that technically none of the Fox Fantastic Four movies were X-Men continuity.
Oh, wow.
If Fant Four Stick was better, then it would have tied in. But I'm glad
that
we
could
don't
have been so great.
I was so excited. Josh Trank off Chronicle. I mean, fuck the writer of that movie, but Josh Trank seemed great. And then just studio interference. First, I want to give a little sympathy to Josh Trank, especially because now he's come out and he's been like, I didn't handle that how I should have, of course. But he's going from this, relatively small budget film. That blows up. The next thing he gets is this $100 million film with this big property. And then, not only that, with that stress level jump in the middle of it, the producers start just not believing in him and undermining him. And, he just breaks mentally. He ended up, the house that they rented for him, he just let get destroyed by his dogs or whatever. You know, he was in the wrong for doing that, and later he admitted it, but considering the immense amount of stress and then the lack of support at that stress level, it would have broken me easy, you know, no doubt.
I mean, when studios and producers, when they start cutting ties and they don't really have faith in you, that's when, that's gotta feel terrible. I don't know what that feels like personally, but...
Yeah, it's hard because Simon Kinberg is the one that is the head producer of these X-Men films. He writes on a lot of them and stuff, and I don't know if it was for this one, but at least in those later years, he's the main person who undercut the production of that, and just did all... I never saw the movie, but he's the reason why Sue Storm has that weird wig continuity bullshit that I heard about. But then he's also the reason that Deadpool is rated R. He went to bat for that. So I'm I really negative points for how you handled this situation. You could have been a great ally on the set, even if it's not going the best way. But then you did this beautiful thing and let Ryan Reynolds and Tim Miller and everyone on that team do everything they wanted. But
I mean, that's the name of the game. I think they knew what they wanted to do, and they knew that if they were given creative control, it would be nothing but, good things, and they were right.
Yeah, no doubt the team on Deadpool has a lot more experience than, the team on Fantastic Four. The director only did one film before that, which was the low-budget Chronicle, but on Deadpool, you got Tim Miller, who's been in the VFX game for so long, so he's excellent at keeping the budgets down for those bigger budget things. Ryan Reynolds, of course, it's natural for him. The writers, I believe, were the writers on Zombieland and all that good stuff, so I could see where more faith could be had, but still, you gotta just nurture your talents and or your talent, the people who are the talent. Gotta nurture them and guide them and help
nurture them. Sometimes they like to be held,
but not the way the director of this film would have held them.
Right. Speaking of nurturing,
or not being held,
or not being held, 37 seconds is when we cut to the professor explaining to Logan about Rogue's powers. And, like, what I like about this scene is it kind of comes full circle, like, from this moment of Logan being in the bed to, like, what happens in the film Logan when the professor is in the bed and Logan is standing over him. We're talking about two completely different things in those moments, but it looks sort of the same. It kind of came full circle for me.
That's awesome. But, yeah. I thought that you were talking about this movie, which made me think of something that could be an intentional parallel. I mean, it's hard to be that flexible with this movie's moment, like this scene, but thinking about how the first time Rogue used her powers, she was in bed with a boy and hurt him. And then the second time she was around Logan's bed, where there was more vulnerability again, and then she got hurt and then hurt him in kind. It's kind of interesting to me that the first two times we see her powers on camera, it's in that intimate setting and private setting.
Which is it's kind of a lesson. Stay out of bed with boys or you'll die.
Yeah, the back of a car is much better. Playgrounds at night when no one are around. Your parents' front room when they're in the kitchen, you know?
Four Seasons room, if you live in... I mean, is that like... That might not just be a Michigan thing. That might be everywhere thing. The Four Seasons room, yeah, definitely.
In the front room of her parents' house with the parents' room literally on the other side of the wall, and they're hanging out in there.
Parents' home.
Yep. And it is not June 9th, 3:28 p.m. for whoever's calling Wolf right now. He didn't ignore your call.
No, it is my dad calling, and he probably will not be listening to this. So we're in the clear.
Oh, I hope it's just out of general disinterest and not a complete lack of support.
No, he doesn't like X-Men.
Okay.
So,
okay. Otherwise, I'd be like, I understand that feeling. All right. Yeah, so we're at that point with the explanations. Considering it got him into this bed, I want to mention that I like the detail of Logan having a stroke or seizure after she lets go. Like, you saw all his muscles twitching and convulsing, and not in the way you want in his bed.
Yeah.
You know, not the way I would want. With him and Deadpool.
You want other types of convulsions, other types of twitches.
Yeah.
Not
different muscle spasms.
Yes.
But
now, if you pause it at 16 seconds, I've been in this exact situation many times.
Getting caught with a woman's hand on your face? I don't understand.
Where's her other hand, is what I want to know. Oh, Lord, I apologize again.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's Jesus Christ. You know, normally I think the left hand would be doing something like pulling hair or, you know, giving a little choke or holding the face. But, you know, yeah, when that right hand's doing that, just a light graze on the cheek.
There you go.
Oh, shoot.
Well, yep.
Did you notice that Jean Grey was in the room?
No.
Wait a freaking minute. Because literally, at 9 seconds, kids start coming in, you know, all crowding around. We see Scott lean in around 11 seconds over her shoulder, turns on the light. Okay, yeah, right behind him is Jean.
Right behind Scott.
And I didn't notice that until Aurora was running in.
Yeah, Jean was the one that ran up to Logan to see if he was all right. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's so strange. Because, like, they go in, we see him turn on the light, then we cut to her healing, and then we cut back to Aurora running in, and Jean's to her right. But then in a wide shot, after he collapses at 19 seconds, yeah, Scott's just further off to the right. He was just standing there, and, yeah, Jean went to Wolverine, and Storm said, Scott, grab a pillow. Huh. And then, everyone, Jean's just too far down to be in the wide shot when Rogue runs out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that kind of like explains why we forgot she was even there. I didn't even realize she was there in the first place.
Yeah, it went by pretty fast. I mean, you couldn't make a joke of where Jean's hands were. At least she's of age.
Well, I mean, Anna Paquin was of age while this was filmed as well.
And so are all the CW actors, but they're still technically sophomores in high school. Their characters. Look, Jasmine's cute in Aladdin, but she is 13.
She's supposed to be 13?
Yeah, and Aladdin's supposed to be like 17, 18.
Wait, and Naomi whatever is like 25 in real life or something, right?
Yeah, no, I don't mean in the live action one, in the animated one.
Oh, yeah, that's really weird.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah. And in continuity, Aladdin was a lot older than her, relatively speaking.
No, he was supposed to be like, she was supposed to be 13 and he was supposed to be like 20-something?
I think more like 17, 18, but I can't remember.
17.
Just enough that there's a... Oh, yeah. I don't know why I did that voice. Anyway, yeah, it's got good lighting for the rest of it, very dramatic, and then it ends on, in your case, your ability to heal. So, yeah. I wonder how they figured it out. I mean, it's not like Xavier could have read her mind and then been like, I know what your powers are. He still learned, first, that's not part of his powers, and he could only read what their thoughts are and what they know. And even then, with Wolverine, he still had to learn about Wolverine's adamantium skeleton inside because of Jean Grey's x-rays. You know, all Wolverine really knew was that metal came out of his hands and that he could heal, but...
What if he read her mind and, I guess the only time her powers manifested was when she was with that dude.
Yeah.
So maybe he read her mind and saw that scenario.
Yeah, so if he just got all the information from reading her mind, he would have had as much information as she told Logan in the trailer.
Yeah,
like,
right. So
I heard people. I don't know what the fuck.
Maybe they did tests on her, like, drew some blood.
I really hope that he was like, touch me very quickly and let's see what happens, rather than, let's get some of the other students. They're more virile.
Jimmy, come over here.
Yes, we'll see. He's got a healing factor. It's much slower. If he'll heal in 100 days, instead he'll heal in 90. But it's something.
It's something.
Or if he just walked her in while Logan was mysteriously knocked out, you know? Like, how do you test that? Like, seriously, what do you do? Like,
how do you test that without putting someone in serious danger?
Yeah, no matter what, you're putting someone in serious danger, but like the best case scenario would have been touch Logan because he has a healing ability, so he'll be fine. But then even then, if she touches him, they literally would have to like cut her skin to see if she took his powers.
Maybe they like tested it out. I mean, that's okay. Hear me out. That's a huge property. They're probably like, it's teeming with gophers. Probably they probably had a couple gophers, had to touch him. Just to see what would happen, you know? I mean, if the gopher, goes, their lifespan isn't as long as a human, so you never know. I mean...
They just tested on, like, one of the animals on the ground that's really a night owl, so that's why she's awake.
That would be funny.
Like, she touches the nighttime creature, and she's like, I'm really tired now. I don't like the sun. And then she wakes up later.
Nocturnal shit.
If you want to follow along in the minutes, go on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, check out the other podcasts. If you're listening on audio, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The other two podcasts that are part of this, Bond Minute Bond and I Love You 3000 Minutes, have challenges that we're going to do if we get 5 reviews or more by the end of us covering the movie we're on. Me and Wolf, we're going to have to figure out something for us to do. So we'll figure that out by the time we're done filming this batch of episodes. But if there's 5 reviews or more by the end of us covering this minute, we will do something unspeakable.
Yes.
To ourselves, not
to other.
No,
yeah.
It'll be self-inflicted, but not self-harming horribleness.
Who knows? It may involve home kombucha.
Look, that's great. Look, all I know is that at this point, I'm definitely going to be eating some cereal with Red Stripe instead of milk for
it's absolutely gross.
The Bond one. And for the I Love You 3000 Minutes, I am definitely having multiple bites of New York style pizza with drops of Da Bomb hot sauce on each one. So no matter what, I'm the biggest loser, except in case of my weight, because I guarantee I will not have lost this weight by the end of these movies. But yeah, that was minute 41.
I'm Wolf.
I'm Brian. Sorry.
And we're the best at what we do.
But what we do is not very fast. That's my mating call.